Good morning from Vancouver Island, Canada. I'm very excited today because I have, for the first time, got a guest on the vlog, and I can't wait to introduce him to you very shortly. In the meantime, I apologize because this vlog is late, but I am busy, and I warned some of you about that, the ones that get my newsletter anyway. Darin is a good friend of mine, and I'll cut to the chase, and you guys can see why he's so special. Okay, thanks, bye. So today is a really exciting day. I've got a guest on the show. His name is Darin Corbiere. And just a little introduction to Darin. We met about a year ago, I think, because we both are on the board board of directors for CVAC. It's Cowichan Valley Arts Council. And I felt just about an instant connection with Darin, possibly because part of the reason is he's done a lot of different things in his life, and I have too. And so there's some similarity there. And then also when he's, oh gosh, now is it Anishinaabe?
Yeah.
He's an Anishinaabe, how do you say it? Just Anishinaabe?
Just Anishinaabe.
First Nations person?
Yeah.
And I used to go to a healing circle in Edmonton, which is a native thing, that was led by a lady by the name of Joanne Pompana. And the healing circle felt like home to me in a way. The knowledge and the wisdom that was offered was good. And so when the first meeting that we had was an informal meeting, it was a planning meeting with the CVAC board, and Darin brought in his some of his cultural wisdom, and right away I was just like, oh yeah, that was a little hook. It felt right and felt good. So then as I've gotten to know Darin, my admiration for him is really just only grown, because I'm sort of in awe of the way that you relentlessly pursue opportunities to show your art and that sort of thing. And also the game that you created, which is really cool. It's a very good teaching game for all of us to learn about, I guess, the history, would you say?
It's more of a historical.
The history
historical game.
Yeah, and the how the colonialism sort of has worked. And maybe just learning. Okay, so and then also I guess the last thing would be just that I've noticed that you have a really good way of dealing with adults and children. And dogs too, apparently.
Apparently, yeah.
There's booze down there.
Yeah.
He's keeping her calm.
Yeah. Or it could be that I have a dog too, so that she probably smells.
Yeah, I think so.
Smells the dog on.
Probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Darin, welcome to Take This Joy.
Thank you.
So I think I would just start off by can you share a little bit about the winding path that your career has taken? We should show Boo on that.
I've never, like, I didn't start out. If you asked me 7 years ago to predict where I would be, like 7 years forward.
Yeah.
If you asked me back, what is it now? In 2015, I never would have predicted anything like this.
You wouldn't have predicted you were here.
No.
or working as an artist.
Because none of that existed before 2015. Well, roughly, I have to say May 2015. I went on a fast. I guess I got to backtrack right to the beginning. When I was a kid, I would look at people and I would see colors around them, and then some people call them auras. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I guess for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But then things started to happen at the church in Wiki. So when I was a kid, and then that went away, and I thought that was normal. I thought that was a normal thing. People look around, they see colors around you, right? I thought that was a normal thing.
Okay, no. So what happened with the church?
There was a friendly priest. We'll just leave it at that.
Oh.
Yeah, very friendly, and in any event, for a long time, I just went about my business until I turned 50, and that was in 2015. I turned 50.
Oh, okay.
And you get tired. You get tired of
Wind.
You get tired of. It's like you're walking around and you're purposely carrying a bag full of rocks.
Yeah.
Right?
And what were you doing?
So,
What were you doing at that time?
oh, I was teaching. I was
So that was when you were teaching.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was a language teacher, a successful language teacher by all accounts in Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah.
Then I was considering principalship at one of the schools
wow.
within the board.
Yeah.
I was taking the courses and
Oh, wow.
all that stuff, and then just things fell apart.
And that was that bag of
just fell
rocks.
apart. That was that bag of rocks.
And it was just you've been carrying it around
Yep.
all that time, and it finally got too heavy.
So I went on I went on a vision quest, I guess,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
The
I always wanted to do that.
it was in the old days. It was when young men came of age, they would be put out on the land on a vision quest, right? It was part of
Yeah.
their ceremonial coming of
Yeah.
age,
Yeah.
and I was 50, and I guess to some extent coming of age, and I mean it's a significant
Yeah, it's a different. You're kind of midlife.
birthday. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you feel like you're looking back a lot.
Yeah,
Probably.
exactly. I did this. I did my fast. I went on my fast, and then
I know.
that kind of cracked things open.
Yeah,
And then all the stuff that happened that I was carrying around started to bubble up, and then, like I said, everything fell apart. Everything just fell apart. So I've been kind of picking up. I can still teach. I can still do the work. I still have the mind for
Yeah.
it. It's just that sometimes those demons, they come back and then they beat the crap out of me, basically. Yeah. So this is one of the ongoing, they say, PTSD, right? As a result of
it
the
comes
church
back because
abuse.
it's still sort of being held in your body.
Well, your body
And your
remembers.
soul,
Your
and-
mind might try to forget. I think,
Yeah.
or you actively do therapies and things like that to try and remediate the situation. But your body, there's a book called the it's something along those lines, like the body never forgets.
Yeah.
I can't remember who the author is,
Oh,
but
boy,
my wife picked it up for me.
I
and
could
it was
even
really
I could just
interesting.
go off on a total side tangent with you on
Yeah,
this one.
well, yeah, it's So
But yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah.
that's basically when a lot of the artwork started to emerge. The colors came back. The colors came back, but
okay.
not.
I want to hear more about that, but I want to backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
Because you have also been an RCMP officer.
Well, a police officer.
Police officer.
In Ontario. Yeah,
In
there's
Ontario.
No
Okay.
RCMP
No
in Ontario.
Ontario. Okay.
Yeah.
So not RCMP. I misremembered that.
No. They're the same thing. It's just different uniform. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. So police officer, and
Yeah.
you've done what else have you done? Police officer, teacher,
I was a teacher.
a game maker.
Well, that's part of my teaching.
Yeah.
Part of the thing
Oh,
that I
okay,
did
that
while I
was-
was as a teacher. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
I think
those
you
are
mentioned
most.
one or two other things. Probably maybe when you were like in school or something, you were doing some certain other things, or when you were
Yeah,
in
there were-
between.
I've during the recession in 2008, I was the night stalker at Walmart on the American side. I was living on the American side for a little while, and for about 6 months, I would work night shift at Walmart, and I would stock dog food.
Oh, there you go.
That was my job.
There
so,
you go. Yeah, so we all
whatever
do-
you
we
need
all
to
do
do,
those kind of
right, to get
jobs.
by.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever you need
So-
to do to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, let's go back to that. So you started. So tell me about the colors. Is it do you still see them?
No.
Oh.
It's been I don't know, weird, this process, because I have no context, and here my thinking. Okay, let me get started here. I can see brightness. Imagine walking into a room and there's a whole bunch of light bulbs,
Yeah.
and you see these light bulbs with their most of them are very dim, or and then every now and then you'll see a bright one.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's sort of like how I see it. I don't see it all the time. Like I don't see it all the time. I don't like. I would have to actually physically like concentrate or
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah.
But certain people are brighter than others, and that's what seems to draw me in, or that's what I find.
Okay.
Again, tying this back to culture, I don't know if perhaps in the old days there might have been, like an old traditional person in the community who would have known how to do that, how to see those things, and how to
So you
how to
could
work
have
those
almost
things.
been a medicine man in a way.
Perhaps
sort of
or
side, yeah.
perhaps or something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I
Yeah.
don't know how to use it. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Right. All I know is that when I do my artwork, I hear stories, but they're almost like they're in an old language, like an old, I suppose it's an Anishinaabe language, because I can understand it, but it takes my English brain a while to interpret
Yeah.
what the story is being told. And then for some of those old Anishinaabe words, there is no equivalent in English, right? So you have to kind of make things
because
up.
they thought of things differently.
It's a different, yeah.
It's a different worldview altogether.
Yeah.
For example, I read a book, Robin Kimmer or something. Anyway, and
Braiding Sweetgrass.
yeah. Have
Yeah.
you read that one?
I've heard of it a lot about it. Yeah.
Basically it's a collection of essays, and it's just because she's a biologist and very concerned with ecology and stuff like that.
Yep.
And so she at one point was learning her language and couldn't figure out why it was so hard for her, and then she realized what part of it was when they're talking about trees and when they're talking about rocks and they're talking about fish and different things, they're talking about them as beings, as people,
Yeah.
not just a tree, which is an object in our mind. It totally shifts your way of
Him
thinking.
or her as opposed to an it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then so all of a sudden, if that's a person, well, that's almost equal to us, right? So it's a total different way of thinking. The way we think, what is a tree, is we can cut it down whenever we want to because it's just a thing.
Yeah,
right?
that's the
It's so different. Anyway, okay, so you hear the stories and then you start to make your art. How did that start happening? How did you start making art?
After my fast, I went out, like I had my fast in May 2015. I went out in June and I bought a whole bunch of this wood. I was going to build a boat.
Oh,
Growing up on the res, I lived like 100 meters from the water.
Yeah.
I used to watch the elders. They would go out in their boats, in their fishing boats, and so that was always been like one of my lifelong dreams. And I was doing well. Like I said, I was a teacher, doing well back in Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I'd buy some wood, build the frame for a boat, and then see how things go.
yeah.
And like I said, that's the year that same year everything just kind of, like I said, collapsed. It was just like flashbacks, all sorts of crazy things happened. Just that one year, 2015.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had all of this wood, some of this wood in my basement, and my wife was. I thought, okay, well, I'm going to make her a little. She was always complaining that when she sat down, she had no surface to work on with her computer, right?
Oh.
So I cut out a chunk of wood, and I sanded it down, and I was gonna get it ready so that she could sit it on her lap like a little table.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then put her computer on top.
Nice.
And that's what I was gonna build her.
Yeah.
And I ended
like a
up.
lap desk.
Yeah. I don't know what they're called, but
Yeah.
but it's just a little portable surface, I guess. And it was one of those nights where I went into. I don't know. And shit happened, and there was a pen that had leaked onto the chunk of wood, and so that's when I first started to see these images.
Yeah.
Right, these things started to happen. They started to appear, and I notice it when you're looking at the grain of wood, you start to see, you start to see shapes and things, and then it just went from there. So
Yeah.
I grabbed a marker and I started adding more lines, and pretty soon the whole thing was done, right? And
you just went into sort of probably like a flow state or something.
I think so. Yeah, I think for again, without context and just learning as I go along. Yeah, because I know the process now. Like then I didn't know what the process was because it was all brand new.
Mm-hmm.
But now I know that there's a process that I have to go through when the artwork says it's ready and tells me it's ready. It tells me the colors, the ideas, the thoughts, the feelings, and then I just get everything ready.
Yeah.
And then kind of go into, for lack of a better term, again, I hate that phrase, but I can't find any other way to say it. But I go into like a trance-like state. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
And then 4 or 5 hours later, I'll come out of it and something will be done.
Yeah.
Or a large part of a piece of artwork will be done.
Yeah.
And
wow, that's
it's
amazing.
it's just I'll have to go pee or something, or my stomach starts growling.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
Or I reach for a drink and I realize, holy smokes, I drank the whole jug.
I didn't even realize
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's and then the story is I'm going to do a compilation. I think I'm going to do a compilation of all the stories. There's major stories, it seems, and as I
maybe you can write your own book.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I can put them all together to make there's a theme. See, I'm very deeply spiritual, and I believe that we're all connected to the Creator, and we just have to be open to those connections and listen to those things. And I think that's the voices, the words that I hear.
Well, maybe
that
the ancestors.
they come from the spirit world, from Creator perhaps. Because like I said, when I come out of these things, when I wake up and these things are done. It's not necessarily me, but like through me, or it's.
Well,
it sounds weird. Lots of people think it's weird, but
not to me. I mean, even other cultures have different words for it, probably. But I mean, they still talk about the muse.
Yeah.
And so you have your own kind of muse. It's just a native one.
Yeah.
Or First Nations, right?
Yeah.
So
either that or different people, different parts of their brain are affected. I'm learning a lot about the brain. My wife has a brain injury, so I've been reading a lot, and trauma affects different parts of the brain and turns or switches on things or switches others off, and turns up others, turns down.
Do you think maybe the PTSD sort of how do you say that? I always forget my words nowadays. It sort of made you ready. Maybe the PTSD turned something on in you,
or switched it off,
or switched something off,
or
both.
I'm thinking, and I'm just guessing here that the trauma from the abuse switched things off, turned things down.
Yeah.
And then as I age, as I come to terms with it, I guess as I literally, when one time I went back to Wiki years ago, before moving.
Wiki
is my hometown.
Oh, okay.
Before moving out here.
Okay.
Literally to drop the demons off at the church, and
wow.
And since then it's been I don't know. It's been cathartic, right? All since then there's flashes of light. It's almost like a thunderstorm, and then there's all these ideas, and then I start doing a piece of artwork or something, and then there's like a series of artworks. And, I don't mean a literal thunderstorm. I mean just like in
your brain.
So it's
Wow, that's really cool.
So I'm like I said, I'm just thinking that in the old days there might have been an elder, pre-colonial times. There might have been an elder. Like my family, my grandma's side, they're called Manitowabi, or Manitowabi, the spirit seers. And I think part of the function of the spirit seer was to to be that medium, right?
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
calls it medium.
So you have it in your blood then?
They're at maybe at some genetic level, like we all know now with that we all carry genetic memories,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
From ancestors, and yeah. So
Well,
it's,
this is really interesting. This is like way more interesting than some of these questions I had for you.
People think of me weird a lot of times, but it's because I think of these, well, what if people look at it and they'll just say, oh, well, it's just the surface stuff, but very few people look any deeper,
Go deeper,
right?
yeah.
And then when they take the time to sit there and listen, and it really stimulates the conversation and the thinking.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm 57 years old. I really don't care anymore what people think of me, right?
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I still
it doesn't
worry
matter.
way too much.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm not doing anything wrong. I just think differently,
Yeah, exactly.
right? So it's shouldn't be a big deal, but
The world takes all kinds, right?
yeah.
The themes that come out, and it's stories, or
Yeah. It's really interesting because the sometimes, like, I've got I guess what artists would refer to as collections. So there
Yeah.
might be 7 or 8 or 3 or 4
Like you do
pieces in a
series-
collection.
a series of-
series.
yeah.
So and so there might be a really cool story about each individual piece.
Yeah.
But then you put them together and they make a bigger, beautiful story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so that's how I wanted to arrange. I remember talking about this book or making a book.
Yeah.
Arranging the artwork so that they tell those stories.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, and then
I think those stories are probably very important. I and I would definitely read that book. What I was gonna say, the first time I ever, I guess, heard of you or saw you was you did that video. Was it for the Fine Arts Show or whatever? And you were talking about your piece, and it was it 2 pieces or 3? And then you talked about one side,
woman in the water.
yeah, and then you talked about one side, and then you turned it around, and then there was a whole other picture on the other
Yeah.
side, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
Yeah, that's the.
and I was just like blown away,
I guess that's the good and bad thing about my style of artwork is that it's on wood, so it has to be viewed from all around. The first early pieces, I just did the front,
right?
And then I thought, oh well, maybe I'll do the sides too. And then my wife suggested, well, you can't leave 3 sides like that. You got to do something on the back. So usually what I do on the back is my signature.
Yeah.
I'll do the signature section on the back.
Yeah.
But then those have also
They
become
start to evolve
in
into
their
more-
own way. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a different way.
Yeah.
More sometimes a more personal meaning, and it's just, I don't know which comes first, the chicken or the egg, and the concept or the artwork, and then it's almost like
Have you heard-
you're foretelling.
Yeah.
The
Have you ever
future.
heard of the term ontological design?
Ontological. I've heard of the word, but no, I
Okay,
haven't.
so it's kind of funny because it was happening to me with one of my sculptures.
Yeah.
I was doing a sculpture, and then it started speaking to me, and then it started evolving, and then I turned around, and then and then I put that back into the sculpture, and then
Yeah.
excuse me, and then the sculpture talked back to me, and then do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind
Yeah.
of, that might be sort of what you're experiencing, is
Yeah.
that you're talking to it and it's talking to you, and you're both evolving as you go, sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, that's really neat. Let's see. Okay. Do you have anything more you want to say about your art? I want to switch the conversation just a little bit.
No, I don't.
Because there's really, in a way, we could just go a lot deeper. So then I just want to ask, I want to sort of apologize for
Cement truck.
all the traffic. Sometimes it's really quiet, and then all of a sudden it's really
Yeah,
loud.
yeah.
I hope that you guys can hear us. Otherwise, I'm going to have to, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to.
We'll figure it out. You can probably.
Well, when I edit it, I can turn it up if I have to, but anyway, so I want to just switch it around to see if you can give some advice to those of us on sort of from the other culture, from the colonial side. And because we were talking about this and it twigged me when we were talking about it at the meeting the other night. about how we can make art more accessible, or maybe it's not really, I don't know, because I think Indigenous people do art, but we want to bring them into mainstream more. Is there ways we can do that, make it more mainstream for them, make it easier for them to enter that? Or is that just something that we're just being egotistical about, and maybe they don't care about us white people? And do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's I don't know. We have to buy into the system that's in place, right? So we got like here on Vancouver Island, we got I think we got a gentleman here in Cow Bay, Arthur Vickers. He's got a gallery. He's an Indigenous, local Indigenous man, and then I think a relative of his has a gallery in Tofino.
Okay.
Roy
So
Henry Vickers.
there are quite a few.
So there are that make it to that level, but I would not be the best person to ask for artistic advice, because I've only been doing this for less than 7 years now,
okay,
right? And
are there things when you were trying to get involved with, say, CVAC or just with, the mainstream community, were there things that you felt like a barrier to you, or was it just because you were okay with, because you could swim in our stream kind of okay?
Yeah, well, I guess maybe for me, it's a little easier for me to fit in, because I've grown up. I come from the res, but grown up off the res. I'm university educated, so I know a little more about how to navigate.
Yeah.
I guess the colonial systems.
Yeah.
And I was a police officer and a teacher, so I mean I know about all the paperwork and all the all that stuff that has to be done. I think with that gave me a lot of a bit of an advantage in working here,
right?
Or in making any headway in a colonial system. I guess as an artist, it's a totally different thing, because it's their systems are also very colonial. When you apply for a grant or anything like that, it's very you have a lot of hoops to jump through in order to for a little bit of money.
Yeah. I did some research into grants, and I could make head nor tails of some of those ones. Like you had suggested a few that I go look up, and I was just like, I just want some money to live while I'm making art.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, you have to have this specific project, and you have to do this. And I'm like, I don't even know what qualifies as that. It just doesn't make sense. But anyway, grants.
other than that, though, it's been. I guess wherever I go, let's see. When I first moved to Prince George, northern BC 5 years ago, the first people that I went to contact or talk to were the local arts council. I wanted to sell my artwork. Yeah. And so I went to the local arts council to check with them, and within probably about a year and a half, I was the vice president of the new Indigenous Arts Council. Yeah.
You tried that the other night with me, and I'm like, I've been there.
And then I moved down here, and I heard about the spring fine art show. Yeah. And I moved down here in March. Spring and fine art show was sometime in April. I went there, and I think within a half hour of me arriving there, Janet showed up. And said, by the way, we have this council. Would you like to help out? Next thing you know, I'm the vice president, within 3 months. And so anyway, so those things have helped me. Yeah. They've helped me a lot, just connecting with the community, and then practicing my own.
Well, and that's that form of volunteerism, like giving back.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about your game a little bit, or
the game? Yeah, sure. Okay.
It's hard to just describe it without. I should have told you to bring it, but you could show the people.
Under these conditions, that would probably blow away. And,
that's true. Yeah.
So I was in 2017. Sorry, 2017. I was still in Ontario teaching, and it was towards the end of the academic year, so the May long weekend. I was involved with the OSSTF, the teachers union, and the teachers union wanted to create a toolkit to send out to teachers to teach about the truth and reconciliation.
Right, yeah.
Right. So that was the incentive, I guess, behind creating this game.
Yeah.
So I created this game, and the union decided to take another direction, and so I had this game and I used it with my kids and to help them study for exams.
Yeah.
And the game, it's a real simple trivia game. It's a lot like Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah.
You go around the board. You land on certain spaces. You answer the corresponding truth and consequence card.
Yeah.
And then the game the game is set on the premise that there's the church and the crown, and the church and the crown, when at the beginning of the game, have no currency, so they have no land, no language, no culture or identity.
Right.
And then you have 10 indigenous players who have all the currency in the game, so they have the land, language, culture, identity, and the goal of the church and crown is to strip the indigenous players of their currency to the point of extinction.
Yeah.
And indigenous players survive by collecting 4 eagle feathers before they run out of currency.
Yeah.
So, and then the truth and consequence cards are basically historical facts about Canada, policies, laws, actions, behaviors, ideas, concepts, all of those things that historically happened,
right,
and its impact on indigenous peoples, and it sort of gives people a good understanding, a good grasp of true history, not the sugar-coated stuff you got in high school.
Yeah.
Right. This is like true Canadian history.
Yeah.
And it really makes a lot of people think.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
some of the
information. Yeah, it's thought-provoking,
right? Yeah.
and
I mean, it's fun too.
and it's fun, and it's all got Darin's artwork on it.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's like
yeah. I've got
it's really neat. So I really hope that maybe you can go somewhere with that, or take it further somehow.
Yeah. That's part of the plan for the summer, is to work on finding out ways to get that into production.
You know, I think you have a lesson for me. I just want to say that your persistence is it's a lesson for me. It's something that I have to learn not to give up sometimes. And that has been something that over the years I have done, and I think I could keep going a little more sometimes.
Sometimes it's just a matter of taking a break, shifting gears.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I'm shifting gears next year. I'm not going to do 17 shows.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an exaggeration.
I tend to, like I said, I'm deeply spiritual.
Yeah.
I know Creator has a plan, and sometimes, you know how I tell you the artwork. Sometimes I don't understand, and I think when Creator has a plan for me, and it's just a matter of me understanding it, right?
Okay.
And I don't know if I ever will, but there are hints. Okay. Here's something funny. Here's something weird. So I drive this road every time I go into Duncan. I drive this road, and for the past 3 drives, I've noticed a sign. It says "Lot for Sale."
Oh.
And there's a number, and I drove by. I noticed the first time, I tried to catch the number. Second time, I tried to catch the number, and I got little bits of the number. And then today, for the first time in probably at least a year, maybe a year and a half, I went out for a bike ride, and I biked all across Canada. In 2011, I biked from St. John's all the way down to Stanley Park. Anyway, I biked around the neighborhood my first time, and I got lost.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got lost up here, and I ended up coming down to the bottom of the hill, and I said, "Holy shit, this looks familiar." Yeah. And I looked down the road, and there's the sign. so I went over with my bike, took the picture, and I said, "Oh boy, I'm lost," but then there's the sign, right? So here's Creator. Yeah. Right. That's how Creator moves. Yeah.
I've had people sent into my life numerous times that I know were meant to be there.
Yeah. Something's up. Yeah. It's just,
and I want to make a suggestion. You can tell me I'm crazy, but I think you need to teach again. But I think maybe you maybe need to. I feel like I want to learn from you. No, like in a spiritual way. I don't know. Like I feel like know how to describe it. It just, and that I think is part of what I felt like it was a connection, was what you had said. I felt like was a message to me in that meeting, and it was something about, I think it was trust the Creator, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Anyway, maybe I'm just wondering, maybe you need to start a healing circle or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a thought, but, so.
Well,
anyway.
Vancouver Island would be the place to do it, right?
Would it?
Because there'd be, all sorts of people of the same sort of thinking. This place is really, the Cowichan Bay is awesome.
Oh, really?
It's just, there's a certain kind of energy here that's palpable, and I think a lot of people who are living here notice that, or know there are certain geographical locations where the energy is whatever you want to call it, cosmic energy, universal power, that kind of thing, where it's more refined or more tangible, and I think this is one of those places. Another one that really influenced my artwork is Fort St. James up in northern BC. Yeah. Lots of power there, lots of power here.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because I keep wanting to use the white words, and I notice you're not using them, like the idea of ley lines and.
Oh yeah. See, and that's what I'm trying to.
And you're trying to not use the colonial type words, and I'm like, this is. And I want to say, oh, you mean ley lines?
Well, that would be the same thing, right? I just lack the.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily. I mean, you could use your own terms.
Yeah.
And it doesn't.
Power centers, or energy. There's a sacred mountain. The mountain's sacred because I think because of its location here to this power. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess I'd like to say that I'd like to think that I am somewhat intuitive, and I do feel things like that. Yeah.
I don't think to the extent that you do, but I hear what you're saying, and I believe in it. I believe it.
Yep.
I think these things happen.
Yep.
I've had a few interesting things happen in my life too. So, but I guess maybe it'd be a good time to wrap this up. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. It was fun.
Maybe if people want to look you up, where can they find you? Where's the best place to find you? Instagram or YouTube?
EasternWoodlandArt.ca is the website.
Okay.
And Eastern Woodland Art on TikTok or yes, YouTube. Soon I'll have a YouTube.
Okay.
YouTube set up.
Oh, you had a YouTube channel.
I do, but it's not out there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've got to do more websites. Same
so
thing.
EasternWoodlandArt.ca is your website.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the first place, and then there'll be probably links to your Instagram and stuff like that.
From there, yeah.
Okay.
And the game. There's a page there about the game. There's a page about I do comic books as well, and then artwork, and then events. So I'll have to lots of work to do to maintain the website.
Yeah. Well, if anybody can do it, it's you.
Well, you got to figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, everyone, let's wrap this up. It was really great having Darin here today, and show him some love. Go to his website, and we'll talk to y'all soon. In the meantime, take this joy.
Take care.
Love you all. Bye for now.